Hey everybody, welcome back to Avidmax Ski Reviews. My name is Steve. Today we're going to be diving into two different new fly boxes from Fishpond made by Tacky. That's the Pescador MagPad as well as the original RiverMag. We're going to be talking about the materials and build of these boxes as well as the main features and benefits of them and maybe some of the limitations as well. First things first, we're going to get into the Pescador MagPad here. That's built on the standard Pescador profile. There's also a large and an extra large. Personally speaking, I'm considering switching over to one brand and model lineup of fly boxes entirely. And this series from Fishpond made by Tacky is a very strong contender for me just for the consistency of build, quality, and features across the board. The packaging is actually printed on 100% recycled paper as well, which is really nice. And then the outer material of the box is also 100% recycled. When you're handling it, you'll notice that there is a mild texture to it and it's kind of a matte finish. Helps you kind of keep a grip on things. It also looks nice. There's a nice kind of open area here where if you're the type of person that likes to use a label maker to identify what the box is intended for, that's great. If you like to personalize your box with stickers, this is another great area to do that too. It's flat and pretty open. You're not going to cover up any logos or labels or anything like that. That's on the front side. Fishpond Tacky series. Looks great, good fit and finish and aesthetics on the outside of the box. Now kind of getting into the features. I love that this is a latchless box. I find them much easier to use. And one thing that's really nice about this style of latchless is usually you'll just find that there's a lip on the lid side, and then you'll notice that you're kind of grabbing a non-lip side, which is, openable. But what's nice is they have a second lip on the bottom so that you can get better leverage and open it really easily, which is especially nice for cold or wet, slippery hands. And now we'll kind of get into the interior a little bit. So it's the same tacky silicone insert that we all know and love, but with this added benefit of the magnetic area here. So as far as capacity, you're looking at 165 flies and then the MagPad additionally. So good size slit for a lot of your run-of-the-mill nymph sizes, probably anything from like an 8 up to 18s in the slots, and then whatever you feel for the magnetic area. Very strong magnet here, pretty much earthquake proof if you are to have mostly weightless flies up in there. You'd have to try pretty hard to make a mistake and lose some bugs there. So some finer touch points that we'd like to note about this box. With the tacky silicone insert that we have here, it can withstand an extreme range of weather conditions. There's really no situation where it's going to expand or contract based on temperature, which is nice. And it also doesn't hold on to moisture the way that foam does, so you don't have to worry about it holding water against your flies, rusting them out, anything like that, which really speaks to the longevity and durability of this box. And to that point, again, with the latchless closure, it's just one less point of failure on this box. On competitors' boxes, you may notice that they either get cold or brittle, and then you end up breaking one. And it also just kind of adds one more piece to the puzzle to getting access to your flies. So if you're trying to whip it out in a frenzy, watching fish rise, and you're trying to deal with a latch, that's a little bit more challenging than just being able to grab on to the big clasps here and pop it open and you're ready to go. And then kind of moving back out to the gasket here, this is a waterproof box. And one thing that is maybe a limitation on this box, or just something to be aware of that we've kind of noticed, is you can't just kind of throw it together and then blindly put it in your pack if you're expecting it to be waterproof. If you'll notice, the edge that I close it on is nice and flush. And then working around, there is kind of that Ziploc bag effect where you're going to want to walk it all the way around that seam to make sure you're getting a nice proper closure. So here's my concluding thoughts on the Pescador MagPad. It would be a really great versatile box for a lot of your fishing scenarios. Really good for hopper dropper, dry dropper. You could fit a lot of different kind of hackles in here due to the depth of it. You can accommodate that without crimping them or smushing them. Like I said, some bigger attractor and lead patterns you could fit in there for nymphs as well. And then any of your really small droppers you could totally fit there on the magnet. The color is listed as a smoke gray. I personally really like the color, but I would say it's almost similar to an American Fender Stratocaster, kind of seafoam green, surf green type, but maybe kind of like a pale teal is more accurate. And then that nice complementary kind of subdued, almost burnt orange color on the inside gives you some nice contrast, and you can kind of see the profiles of your flies nicely with it being a lighter shade. Slender profile, small enough to fit in probably 90% of the packs that are out there these days. And again, latchless, which means that you can slip it in and out of a wader pocket too without it catching on like the zipper or something like that. Really great box, super versatile, and the quality and features that we've come to expect and love from Fishpond and Tacky. Next up in the lineup, we have the original RiverMag box. This is built on that original Tacky fly box platform, super sleek and slender. Again, with the packaging, it's printed on 100% recycled paper, and this is 100% recycled plastic for the shell of this box. We'll cover kind of everything on the outside first and then get into the interior. So the finish of this box is a nice high gloss. I really like the look of that. Has a good feel to it as well, super sleek. And then the lid is something that I really appreciate, being clear, which allows you to take inventory, do some window shopping. I think it's kind of a specific scenario, but hear me out. If you were out there in the winter and wanted to keep your hands warm and dry while you maybe take a break and make your next plan of attack, you could throw a glove on, kind of figure out what flies you're gonna do and what places on your rig, and then go ahead and kind of pinch that glove off and then get in there and do your thing. So I like the ability to do that with the clear lid. You do kind of have these two attachment points up there as well, which I think my mind immediately goes to taking a little piece of P-cord and maybe braiding that together and then tying it off here, so that if I were to put it into the interior pocket of my waders, I could leave that tag kind of sticking out, and instead of having to dig around in there, I could just pull on that strap and access my box. Again, with this box being built on that original platform, it's a latchless magnetic closure, which is really nice for keeping it super clean and simple on the outside so it doesn't snag up on anything. It's less points of failure, again, like I said in the old Pescador here. It's a strong enough magnet that you don't have to worry about it opening up on its own inside of your packer bag, but light enough that it's very easy to get into. So now let's kind of talk about the interior. On the interior of the box here, we have 10 different compartments. We measured them out to be about 1 1/4 inch wide by 1 5/8 inch long. And then that depth was roughly 3/8. I was joking around saying it's kind of a Chicago deep dish style because you have some pretty good clearance in here to probably put some bushier dry flies or larger attractor patterns without damaging any legs, hackles, etc. You have the ability to organize this however you see fit, whether that's by type, size, or color. I think it can be overwhelming with a slotted box to kind of want to fill the rows and stuff like that. But what's nice about this is whether you've got it by caddis, mayfly, stonefly, midge, etc., or just weight of bead or anything like that, it's very aesthetically pleasing whether you have, you know, a dozen flies or if you fill these to the brim. It could really have you prepared for a lot of your shorter day trips. I think with the size and depth and everything, you could probably cover a lot of different dry dropper scenarios as well. And I think this could also be a pretty cool still water box. You could fill it up with a bunch of different chironomids, calabatus, and damsels for the most part, and have something where you really can just reach and grab for this guy and cover a lot of your fishing situations. In terms of the magnet itself, these are pretty dang strong magnets. Where I would personally draw the line as far as weight of fly goes, I would think anything in excess of a 4mm tungsten bead or that equivalent, if you have lead wraps underneath or something like that, is about where I would cut it off. It's gonna hold just fine in most of the ways that you can hold the box. Here I have some pretty heavy rolling stones as well as some jig squirmies, and it'll hold just fine, but if I were really in the mood, I could get them to fall out. That's potentially a limitation. I don't know how many of you guys are dangling your box over the water and shaking it, but just something to be aware of is about a 4mm bead is where I would draw the line. Another aspect of the magnet that we like is without having any slots, you're never going to wear them out. A lot of times with foam boxes or even some of the higher density stuff, if you're taking flies in and out of these slots, they're going to wear over time, but this is something that's going to have a lot of durability and longevity because you're simply placing flies into a compartment. All in all, I think this is a great box that's really versatile, pretty minimal and simple, but I really like that. But it's also very functional. It's not just for looks, even though it does look great. I think this is something that personally I would use next to my tying station if I'm tying up a bunch of stuff and organizing by bead size and color or type of fly or something like that. It can be a challenge to go and grab your boxes out of a boat bag or a pack or something and then put them into the right place. I think that's something that we all struggle with. But if you use this guy as a working box for seasonally relevant things as you're tying throughout the year, load this guy up when needed, go out for that fishing trip that next day or that weekend or whatever it is, use them up, bring it back to the bench, and load it up again. I think this is something that anybody could make use of, from rivers, lakes, and still water. Probably not a saltwater box, definitely not a streamer box, but for most of us trout anglers, I think this is something for everybody. So some concluding thoughts on these boxes overall. Here we have the whole Pescador lineup, and we'll talk about the color again momentarily. So these are the Baja Blue, kind of that deeper, rich blue color. Like I said, with the smoke gray on the Pescador MagPad, it's definitely lighter than the Baja Blue. Still, to me, looks a little kind of teal, a little bit surf green, not very gray, so just something to be aware of if you're really putting all your eggs in the blue basket. But it'll help you identify it if you're putting all these into a boat bag or something, and then you just want to reach down and know that you're grabbing the MagPad. Say, oh, there's my lighter one. Here it is. Has the magnet in there, and it will help you kind of have it stand out in a crowd of Pescadors. And then something that we found kind of interesting is you'll notice that the RiverMag has pretty much the same color as this here smoke gray Pescador MagPad. What's interesting is it's actually listed as Baja Blue, which is this color. Not exactly the same. Again, not a huge deal. The fish don't give a It's just something to be aware of if you're wanting to buy this and want it to match the other Baja Blue. It actually matches the smoke gray. all in all, I think the RiverMag and the MagPad are great boxes, a great addition to the relatively new lineup of boxes from Fishpond made by Tacky. I think they're super versatile, and there's something for anybody out there. You can really customize it to whatever your personal fly fishing needs are, whether that's river or still water, etc. I think there's some cool options here for you guys. We'd like to thank you for watching this video and being a subscriber. We recently passed 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and that's thanks to you guys, so we really appreciate it. If you're not yet subscribed and you like our videos, go ahead and do so. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see something specific from us in the future, please leave a comment. We respond to pretty much all of them, and we definitely read them all. So if there's a piece of gear you'd like to see or a pattern you'd like us to tie, let us know. Thanks, and we'll see you out there. Make sure to like this video if you did. Go ahead and leave us a comment. Maybe let us know what you'd like to see us review in the future. It's like the future, but huge. It's like what you would think is gonna happen, but like bigger. I-70's going to 3 lanes.